Yo! Yep, it's that dude with the giant neon boombox on his shirt, back again for another rant. This one is about yet another YouTube policy change. The US tax requirements for YouTube earnings change, as I'm going to call it. And how it's COPPA all over again. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that it's a rule change that actually makes sense, but that they've completely dropped the ball with the implementation on. But before I get started, I know that since this is a video complaining about monetization rules, I'm going to get a million comments down below talking about how I say my channel is not about making money all the time, and yet here I am complaining about a rule that's ultimately going to be taking money away from me. Okay, you want me to be real? I would not be shooting videos with 20-year-old cameras if this channel were about making money. Alright? And frankly, if this channel were about making money, it would be an utter failure, because I do not make a whole lot on this. It is very much, it's not even a secondary income stream. It's more like a tertiary, maybe not even tertiary, it's lower than that. But the money that I get from YouTube earnings goes right back into the channel, and it is what I use to pay for all of the things I make videos of. Here is the YouTube support page, or I guess the Google support page, about this particular new rule change that they've implemented, and, you know, why, and how you submit your information, and where the tax requirements apply, and there's an FAQ, and blah, blah, blah. It seems pretty mundane and obvious, but here's what I've got a problem with. Submitting your tax info. Google may be required to deduct up to 24 whatever. Okay, that's fine. You must follow the instructions to submit tax info to Google. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, my issue is that this is not just, you know, okay, I live in this country, I'm an individual, or I'm a business, or whatever. You have to fill out this. Oh, look at that. That's a US tax form, isn't it? Why am I, as a resident of a completely different country, required to now submit a US tax form? How does that make any sense to anybody? Since going through this form, maybe there's something I'm missing that's, you know, obvious and should be jumping right up in front of my face. The only thing that it really says is that, okay, look, I live here. There's a tax treaty here. Blah, blah, blah. Special rates. Blah, blah, blah. The only thing it's really asking me is, this is where I live. Now, I guess if I were a business, it would give me a different form than this one. But that's not my point. The point is, it seems to me the only two pieces of information that they actually need are my country of residence and whether or not I'm an individual or a business. And they have those two pieces of information. And if they don't, all they gotta do is ask. And from there, you know, Google is the algorithm king, and they've got so many different algorithms on YouTube designed to either make your life a living hell, or to, you know, I think you know what I'm getting at. Why can they not have an algorithm to figure that out? They have an algorithm for everything else. They got an algorithm for the COPPA rule, pretty much. They got an algorithm for the the monetization, whether it's ad-friendly or not. So why don't they have an algorithm for this? Doesn't make any sense. And the best part about this whole thing, and like I said, it's just like COPPA all over again, is this right here. Do they tell you what you need to do? No. They say that they cannot provide advice and that you need to consult a professional. How is that any different than consulting legal counsel to advise you about US law? I mean, let's get real here. That isn't any different than consulting legal counsel. So the official stance is that you've now got to understand US law, and if you don't understand it, go hire a professional and pay money to a professional to figure it out for you. Because we are too lazy to go look at your profile on AdSense or otherwise and go, okay, this guy is from this country and it's a personal AdSense account, so probably an individual, we need to deduct this amount. Or we need to deduct nothing because that's what the thing says that we need to do. So this is nonsense, and I don't get it. I'm surprised there isn't more backlash than there really is. It's just, it's bewildering that they did not learn from the COPPA debacle. At all, it seems. Now, I want to be very clear. Again, I'm not against this rule change because it makes sense. You know, they have to pay this money. This money has to come from somewhere. At the same time, I kind of don't understand why they're waiting until now to enforce this, because it's not like Chapter 3 of the US IRC is new in any way. It's just like COPPA, you know, it's been around for how long, and they're only choosing now to enforce it? Kind of a bit late for that. What I do have a problem with is, because of the fact that somebody from the US might happen to watch my video, they might happen to be served an ad, and therefore I get ad revenue from it, if I can actually talk, I now need to understand the US tax law. What? What would happen if the CRA up here turned around and then did the same thing to everybody in the US? Can you imagine the backlash? Or it'd be like if in India, you know, their tax agency decided to do the same thing. You know, you have all the information you need. You can figure it out on your own. You're Google. Come on, let's act like Google. Let's not act like it's 1989 anymore. You know, it's like if I were a business operating solely in this country, and just because some citizen from the United States comes up here, buys something from my store, and then crosses back over the border with it, I now need to understand and submit U.S. tax information? I'm sorry, that's not really fair to me. And that doesn't really make any sense at all, because you know what would happen if that were the way that it worked? Companies here would be asking for proof of citizenship here. And if you were not from here, they would say, too bad, so sad, get out of my face. We don't want to deal with you. It sounds really stupid, because it is really stupid. The rule is fine, the implementation is absolutely stupid, and should be fixed. Although, given their track record with the COPPA rule, I don't think it's going to be. Who knows? Maybe it will end up like COPPA, and it'll basically be inconsequential about a couple months later. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, leave your comments down below. I somehow think there'll be quite a few of them. And I will see you all on the next video. Hopefully.